Okay. All right. 1 2 3 Hello, everyone. สวัสดีนะครับทุกท่านครับ How are you doing? I hope all well with you. And this past week has been wonderful for you. And we got a lot of good news regarding to COVID situation. It seems like everywhere in the world now is starting to open up, including here in U.S. So a lot of these places now that we've been that you don't even have to wear masks anymore, and a lot of people get the fourth doses already, and stay safe and stay back to normal, which is very very good. So well, welcome and to the first day of April. I know it's not an April Fool, but today we have our special guest joining us today. And his name is Napasit Suthampan. So before we ask him to joining us, I just want to introduce myself and hope by now that you all know me. We meet twice a month at this series every Friday. My name is George. I'm a CEO of the agency College Recruit. So we are a #1 college recruiting consulting company that helping student athletes coming here to US or Canada or Europe regarding whether you want to be in professional, you want to be play college, or you want to just come to study. So we help every kid from high school continue to college, and a few of them can continue to professional. For example, like a few of our clients in the LPGA tournament right now, or ATP, WTA, we all continue pathway from high school, college, and then professional pathway. But want to thank you again for everyone who joining us today. And again, this record will be in live Facebook and also on our YouTube channel. Just to be make sure everyone mute while we talking with our guests. And if you have any question, you see the bottom of the screen in the chat. Just go ahead and type your question, and we'll certainly get your question answered at the end of the session. Thanks again for joining us, and want to welcome our guest, Mr. North. How are you doing?
Hi, George. First of all, I would like to thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on the on this webinar. It's been quite a long journey, but to introduce myself, my name is North Suthumpun. I am a track and field athlete at George Mason University and Division One, NCAA Division One, and yeah.
It's good. I mean, thank you again for waking up this early, 8 o'clock in the morning, Friday. It's a good Friday. It's actually, do you have school today?
No, actually, I do not have any classes today. I do not have classes on Friday, so.
Oh, okay.
Thankful for that.
Hey, good strategy. How about the whole weekend? You plan not to have anything, right?
No, I like taking classes heavily, like on Monday to Thursdays. And then I just have a relaxing day on Friday, or I just finish up work that I need to do. I think that's the best way to go on with school and sports as well. So,
okay,
yeah.
Good. And your track meets normally meet in the weekend or weekdays?
So, yeah, that's a good question. So with bigger meets, for example, the more competitive one at IC4A levels, they normally start on Thursdays, so we would leave on like Wednesday, so I would be missing a little bit of class.
Yeah.
And then we come back usually Saturdays or Sundays, depending on how long the meet goes or if the weather is not too good. So the meet adjusts to that.
Okay, good. We met what, 3-4 years ago, I guess. 3 maybe, or 4?
It was I'd say about 3 years ago. Yeah,
definitely before COVID. I know that.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a while.
Right. So, when we met, you was my first encounter regarding to a student athlete on track and field. So, and we help you and we recommend you to guide you a little bit, but you pretty much did it on your own. It was very impressive, very impressive. And back then, what I remember was that George Mason is one of the top elite in track and field program, right?
Yep.
They won like national indoor championship or something. Are they?
So if from my memory, so we have a big banner in our indoor track. I think they were champions, both men and women's track and field in 1996.
Yeah.
And I think ever since then, it like kind of promoted the program and like persuaded kids to come to Mason because of how competitive we are. And then I think it was like 2018 or something like that, 17 and 18, where our team was really, really good until the seniors graduated. And now we're kind of like recovering and rebuilding the program again because every single person on the team is, I mean, there were some seniors, but there are new kids coming in. So it's kind of like the upcoming generation now taking the ball.
Mm.
So yeah.
Good, good. Well, your generation, isn't it? Right? You are only third year in the program, so very good. All right, why
Yeah.
don't we start with this, okay? Now since you on the track and field, and now we in that particular area now, we helping other student athlete coming here as well on the track and field now. We get more familiar with it. We have more partnership with different academy. But you actually inspired me to start with that route because before we met you, we were exploring like golf, tennis, soccer, basketball, volleyball, but hardly have any athlete on this field. So why don't you tell us, an audience, and me as well, is that how did you get started in Thailand?
Yeah. So
And
it
when
all
when
started off
when
in when was that? So that started, I think it was around January or February in my sophomore year in high school when I first came off of the basketball program at ISB. So for everyone's reference, I went to ISB, International School, Bangkok in Thailand. Um, I played basketball. I had passion for basketball, throughout middle school and then middle of high school. And things didn't really play out. I didn't get a lot of playing time, although I love the sport. I didn't get playing time. I wasn't so confident, and I wanted to pursue a sport where I have confidence in. And I looked and we were going into season 3, and I remembered, oh man, like there's no sports at all that fits into um, like my strengths because in ISB, the season's 3 sports, from what I remembered, was softball, well, baseball, badminton. I can't do that. But the one sport that stuck out to me the most was track and field. It was actually on the bulletin board. It says try out at 3:15, and I said, you know what, I'll just give it a try.
Mhm.
And here we are.
But
Yeah.
what did you try out? Hurdle or you tried sprint? What type of event?
Um, to be completely honest, I was all over the place. I was doing every single event. I was doing trying to do the 100, the 400, the mile, the 800. I did everything I could in power to try and make the varsity team. Spoiler alert, I didn't make the varsity team. I didn't make the varsity team until later in the season, when I actually proved to the coaches that I am a valuable asset to the team as a high jumper. Um, high jump was the first ever event that got me into track and field.
I see. Good. So you started that in sophomore year, right? Uh,
Yes,
and
10th grade. Yeah.
how many, like in high school in Thailand, international school? Because what I understand is most of the time, international school are the one who have track and field program, right? And then completely. How many meet that you compete each year?
Ooh, so I would say very minimal. It's not a lot for sure. In my sophomore year, we only had if if you're not on the varsity team, the one time you're only competing once. If you're in junior varsity, you're only competing at BISAC. And but if you're a varsity athlete, you get a chance to compete in three. So which goes from BISAC, well, exchange, BISAC, and then IASs, which is the conference league in ISB within 6 different schools from different countries. So I think if I'm not wrong, that's the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Taipei, Singapore, and then Thailand.
Mhm.
So that's like considered like the peak level of track and field in Thailand, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maximum three, and then
Yeah.
you have the national one. Not just international school kids,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? So all right. So the reason why I ask is I want to because you have experience on both sides. One is in Thailand as you're growing up, and one is here. All right. In college, how many event that you compete a year?
Oh, yeah. So a lot.
Yeah.
I could not count on like both of my hands. Like there was so many opportunities here for you to compete.
Yep.
I think this past season, I think I've competed more times than I have ever did in high school, like in like 3 years of high school combined. And at first, I was really like I would say I was really burned out because I've never been to a competition like every single week, and I never had to really travel anywhere far. In Thailand, it was simple. It was just at our school because our school had probably one of the best track in the internet all of international school. So my travel was at maximum 5 minutes. So I just bike from my house to the school. But then here in the U.S., the first day you go to Williamsburg, and then the next day you appear in Harrisonburg, and the next week you're in Massachusetts. Like you're all over the spectrum of the East Coast or wherever your school are. You're wherever your school is.
Yeah. That's his college, right? And it's pretty much
Yep.
reflecting in the high school as well. On the high school here, you're competing a lot as well. So it's normal for someone who go to high school here and on a track and field team and transition to college. But for you, it's a big transition.
Oh, definitely.
And then what I'm saying is it's not just track and field in almost every sport. Like swimming too. In Thailand, they meet like twice a year. You train, you only complete twice a year, but here every weekend you have something. So
Yeah.
it's a big adjustment. So all right, fast forward. So after you start your track and field with the high jump, right? And then you probably explore some other hurdles, all the stuff. What I understand is when I met you was a captain on the team, right? In high school, right? And
Hmm.
then hurdle was 3 foot high compared to here 4 foot high, something like that.
Um, so so I have to explain first that the way hurdles work in Thailand, the way hurdles work in the US is different in terms of high school recruiting. In high school, in America, you would do the 300-meter hurdles, but at a higher height. But then in high school in Thailand, you would do the 400-meter hurdles. So basically more distance, but at a lower height.
Mm.
So that was I think that shocked me a little bit because um, I'm not used to running like high hurdles at all. Like I'm pretty tall if you ask me. I think I'm 6 feet one, and I think like the hurdle when I first got here and I first tried to pursue 400 hurdles, like the hurdle was pretty much up to my hips. So it was quite high. So I was about, yeah, so about 2 to 3 feet high. And I was like, oh no, no, I was so out of it. And I had to like, I found another event that was more suitable to me.
Mm,
And that was the long jump.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, let's go back to that. It's like if you've been training all this time in high school in Thailand with the recruiting standard of US, you probably have better chance, isn't it? Right?
for sure.
So
Yeah.
my assumption is you probably only one of the whole team that is here and on track and field. Do you have any other friends?
um, yeah. So from my knowledge that I know of, I think I am the only Division 1 athlete like from my asses, from our conference. The other, I know other kids who. Oh, actually, there's another girl who's running for West Point right now. She's from Singapore. But then most of the kids are D2, D3 kids.
Yeah,
Um, uh, yeah, so it's difficult. It was very difficult to make
yeah, yeah.
for
So
sure.
I mean, that's a it's experience that you might want to share with people back in Thailand. If you want to come here in US, it's gotta try to train at the US standard, college standard
Hmm.
way. But
Yeah.
most of the Olympian track and field Olympian like US national team, I think it's like 95% is from college. So
Yep.
basically, right?
Yep.
So I mean, if you're at the college level here, you're pretty much on the national team, almost. Uh,
Mhm.
that type of high standard. So it's good. Congratulations. Um, so how do you pick Joyce Mason? What was the main reason why you choose Joyce Mason to come?
Um, First of all, so I picked George Mason due to my academic needs, not really for my athletic needs. I didn't really had track and field in the picture at first. I picked it solely because of how well it fit me as a student. And at first, like I mean, when I first got here, I loved the program that they offer. So I am a psychology major. Um, they have a really good psychology program here, and I couldn't tell you how many wonderful things they have been able to offer me as a student. Um, but so track and field was not in the picture for me until like later I got into the school. Like I made sure I got admitted first, and then we can start thinking about track and field, which I think wasn't really the smartest process because I remembered I emailed the coaches like really late in my senior year. I'm talking about like post graduation, contacting the coaches post graduation. So that would only leave me like 2 to 3 months before college starts. And that's not going to guarantee you any spot at all on the team. And with me being from Thailand, the standard, like the standard that I have, the times that I had were definitely not fast enough. So, um, yep, it was rough for me to accept. I think if you asked my parents back like 3 years ago, I remembered I was sitting in front of the house in Maryland, and my dad came out and he saw me crying because I didn't make the track team here, and then he said, do you still want to keep going? I said, yes, I still want to keep going, and then yeah, here we are. We found you and George, so thank you so much for helping us out.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. You're welcome. I got my good friends call me up one day and say, "Well, track and field, let's do it." So, yeah, I came here 35 years ago. I was like you. Nobody helped me with a college. I have no idea, and I went through experience that I said to myself, I wish someone there to help me out, at least give me some pointer what I need to do. So I went through like wasting time basically. So that's the whole reason why we set up the company. that we want to help this generation to do, especially the guideline of what you need to be doing. So what I learned from you now is that if you know something like back in junior year at ISB of this is the height, this is the standard that they need, you have some goal to work toward to, right? But
Definitely,
yeah.
definitely.
So you were the first person. That's probably why you pioneer the whole trend now. That's why thank you again for joining us today. I really hope that this session will inspire many others because
Thank you.
yeah, because this past year we put the first basketball type players in Division Two, the first ever. Because when they call me up, say no problem, I got connection, let's do it. So I got the first basketball guy in the D2. I can't get D1. There's no way. He's already post grad too, just like you.
Yeah.
You were international school, and we placed the first volleyball male players in D1 ever. And he also, I think he graduated from ISB too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we put him to Long Island. So we did the ice hockey for the first time ever. Whoever thought ice hockey can come to play college here, So
Right.
we are here to make sure that you can follow your dream. Don't stop whatever you've done in the past. Keep your passion intact, and education and sport can go together. And the way you came about to pick the school, it's certainly the way that we recommend our client. Because take the sport aside, where do you want to go? What school you
Right.
go to study. So that's leading up to me. So how's your daily life at George Mason?
So I'll just go through the whole day with you. So as you know, I don't have classes on Fridays, but on days that I have classes, I normally wake up around 9 a.m. and then I have classes from 12 to 3 p.m. So breaks down into two sections actually. So 12 to 1:15 and then 1:30 to 2:45. And so I would have roughly, so after 2:45, I would have roughly about an hour to um, just set my day for like the next half of the day. Usually don't I don't relax. So as soon as I finish class, I just go straight to the training facility, because most of the stuff that we do in track is very heavy on sprinting, and athletes are super vulnerable to injuries when it comes to heavy sprinting. So I had to make sure I had to get there at least 45 minutes before practice and start getting on the bike and then start stretching and just do everything to make sure that you're going to be performing at the most optimal level in practice. Perfect practice makes perfect. So you always have to be on that routine always. As an athlete, you can't really be slacking off, otherwise you're going to be injuring yourself all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just how it goes. And then I finish, I'd say practice I finish around 6 p.m., 6 to 6:30, and then I would come back to my room, shower, get ready for my other class, which are normally at 7:20 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then I come back and then revise some work for about an hour, and then lights off at 12, usually.
Wow, that's a long day, and it's happened
Yeah.
day from Monday to Thursday, right?
So, yep, that's from Monday to Thursdays. And I forgot to mention this actually. Part of an athlete's responsibility here is you have to get COVID testing once a week. So the time window is from 9 to 12, so 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So as soon as I wake up, I just wash my face, brush my teeth, and then I get up and then I have to go to the field house and I get testing done, because if you don't get the testing done, you're not allowed to practice.
Oh wow. Okay.
For safety measures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least right now it's once a week, right? What was that before a year ago? How many?
Oh, it was it was too much. It was like 2 times a week to 3 times. Um, I think back then they were doing a nasopharyngeal test, so they had a swab test.
Mm.
But now they switched it to saliva, so I'm so thankful for that because you don't want to get poked every single week.
That's true. How many shots you got so far?
So I'm required to have a booster too, so I'm fully vaxxed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You on the
Mhm.
fourth already?
Sorry.
You on the fourth shot already?
Uh, hopefully, hopefully, if they come up with the fourth one and it's for free, I'll take it any day.
Now, I think, yeah, well, I think the U.S. government or at least just athletic department there will certainly get you take it for sure, for free. Anyway. So all right. So people have question. And track and field is a big
Sure.
team, right?
Yeah.
So how do they go about it? In terms of event or in terms of like jump, how many jumper in your team compared to troller, all this different stuff.
Okay. So there are about 90 something kids on the team, I think overall.
Mhm.
But the thing with jumping is that we only have 3 jumpers on the team, 3 long jumpers,
Wow.
which is very, very like slim amount. So the chances of you making the team is you have to be performing all the time. You have to be able to cope under pressure. I mean, I so outside of track, I've competed in AAU before in America. So my best mark was 23 feet 5 or 714, 7 meter 14. And that pretty much was exceeding the standard of a Division 1 long jump um, standard. So I was lucky enough. The coaches were like, wow, okay, like 714, like imagine if we actually put him into proper training and organized training, what
Mhm.
can he become?
Yeah.
So they saw the potential that I had and they picked me. And I found out later there were a load of kids that were trying to get on the team as a long jumper. And I couldn't even tell you how much. It was too many. And then, yeah, they picked me and here we are. Yep.
It's good. So 3 jumper, long jumper on the team, and how many sprint? This must be a lot, right?
Oh, sprinting. So sprinting is a wide range. So we have long and short to long sprinters. Long sprinters, we have about we actually have quite a bit. I think 4 to 6, and then short sprinters are a little, I think around the same range as well. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, and coaches, they got coaches in every type of event, right? Jumper,
Hmm.
you got everything. It's a big team.
Yep. Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Good. So all right. I mean, you're on the third year already. You probably think about future. So
Yep. Hmm.
do you have any plan to compete in Olympic?
Um, so I think,
Did you draw that route yet?
yeah,
What's see, all right, so first, you didn't know anything about college recruiting, so you start late, right? So you start
yep.
late, and now you caught up already.
Hmm.
Caught up with
Yep.
people on the D1 level. It's a
Yep.
big deal. All right. So now what is your future for your athletic system? So a lot of people in your field gonna be Olympic. That's why I told it first, rather than SEA game
Yep.
or Asian game.
I I do really see myself competing at the highest level in the next 5 years. I don't see myself walking away just yet from the sport. I do feel like I probably will try to make the Olympics. Um, I don't think the journey is over yet. I think it's only the beginning for me. So my plan is my goal is to make the Olympics. Yep.
And how far away from you for a qualify? They have a qualify A and qualify B, right? I assume.
Um, well, the qualifying standard is quite high for the past few years because everybody is getting more competitive and they're trying to eliminate um, like a lot of people trying to make the Olympics. So the standard, I think, for the past year has gone up from 8 meters and 8 meters to 8 meters and 24 centimeters. That's quite a big margin, and I'm only at 7 meters 15. So I have about a couple of years to make up for it. So yeah, there's I think from this past Olympic there were only like 20 to 20 something jumpers at the Olympics, which is insanely low for the amount of people in athletics. If you go on the IAAF page, you'll probably see that there's like at least like 10,000 or even more than that athletes named. So on the ranking system, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's so 1 meter. It's 1 meter for a long jump, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'll keep working on it. So, but
Yeah.
have you looked at the stat for a Thai national team?
Yes. So I've competed in Thai nationals this past winter in December. I was placed sixth, I think, in the country. But still, I felt like if I would have jumped better or I would have run faster, then I would have been in the top three for sure.
Mm.
The Right now there are lacking long jumpers from to my knowledge at least, because the guy who won the long jump is actually turning into a decathlete. So he can't he can compete in the category in the men's open for the long jump, but
Yeah.
that would be too much work for him because then he has to shift back and forth
Yeah.
with the open event and then his own set of events of being the decathlete. That's 10 events. That's insane. So yeah.
Oh, should be good for you then, right?
Yeah, hope for the best.
Slide it in, slide it in. That's good. So yeah, so another thing that what we plan to do is we're gonna have a track and field camp in Thailand this May.
Okay.
So I bring three gold Olympians. One is a troller, one is a jumper, pole vaulter, jumper, and then sprint to Thailand. So we're gonna host a camp for 2 days, and it's gonna be at the end of May, and then
Oh, okay.
we move to Philippines. So 2 countries for the trip. But yeah, no, that's why I want to talk to you and have you inspire others, because I think as a track and field for Thai national team, um, we could have done more. We could have done more, based on
Yeah.
your experience and based on other client experience that's coming in. I think there's a lot of big gap between Thai and the US.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's gonna get smaller. It's just like every other sport. When I started this 10 years ago in golf or tennis, it's a big gap, but now it's almost no gap anymore. So it just
Yeah.
transfer knowledge, basically. So I got a few more minutes here, about 10 more minutes. So I'll take
Yeah.
questions from the floor. You see
Sure.
there, out of the 90 student athlete on your team, I'm assume that not all of them going to get a scholarship. So the scholarship
Sure. Yeah.
probably very scarce, right? So how many full ride? Not how many scholarship do they have, and then they probably can spread it out for among 90 kids.
So the exact number of student that has full scholarship, I am not sure. Like I am not sure how many kids have a full scholarship and on my track team.
Yeah.
But I can definitely say that I could definitely say that there's less than 10 people, or around 10 people or less than that,
Yeah.
on the team. Yeah.
I just look it up and they say on your D1, maximum
Yeah.
on the men you can have only 12.6. On the
Yeah.
woman, you can have only 18.
Hmm.
That's the maximum anyway. But
Yeah.
I know George Mason, like tennis, maximum 6, they have 1.2.
Yeah.
Oh, golf. So,
Yeah.
it's very high academic, and I want to focus on that part. Um,
Mhm.
so you represent Thailand for sure, right? Because
No, yes, I don't have an American passport. No.
good,
No.
good, good. So, all right, if you have to advise somebody who normally when we start our college recruiting, we start a ninth grader, right? So you got 4 years
Right.
there. So ninth grade, 10th grade, that's when you can start contacting coaches. 11th grade, that's when you start accepting offer because you normally get 2-year offer before you actually finish high school. Um, you know, so if you have to advise somebody who want to follow your footstep here, let's say ISB or Bangkok Patana or Chilbury, what would your advice? Because your school play every sport, right?
Yeah. Pretty
And
much. Yeah.
yeah, every sport. What would you be your advice for someone who lives in Thailand?
So if somebody were to follow my path, I would say you have to get as much exposure as you can at the high school level. So I'm saying, like, during the summer you can't you can't be sitting around at home doing nothing if you really want to go a Division 1 or Division 2 or 3. My recommendation is you either find a camp that you're faithful in for your event, or you just go to do what I did. Go to AAU, find a club to run for, and or just compete as an unattached
Mhm.
and just run in AAU, because I'm telling you, AAU's competition is is nothing to be um what's it called? Like, you can't you I don't even know how to explain to you. These kids in America are crazy for at that age. Some kids, I can definitely tell you that there are some kids in high school who are jumping farther than me in AAU. So if you can get that type of competition exposure, the more competitive of a candidate you'll become as an athlete entering into the collegiate scene. Yeah.
So what you mean is get exposure while they're in high school, they should come here to compete and get scouted by coaches. Is that what you recommendation?
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
don't
Exactly.
wait until finish high school like you to come here.
Yeah. No, that's yeah. Yeah, no. So if anybody's listening, the young ones, then that's my recommendation. Go out there. It's okay that if it's okay that you lose. You learn every time that you lose.
Yeah.
So I've been beaten multiple times. Like, it's a lot of times that I've gotten beat, and then there are some times that I win. But at the end of the day, as long as you're getting pushed by somebody right behind you, you're gonna improve for sure. I promise you that. I promise you.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
before you can run, you got to start walking, right? Somebody
Yeah.
right there and be with you. It's
Yeah.
a very, very good advice because, you know, you have to work extra harder if your timing is off. And you did it. Now you caught up
Yeah.
with everything. Now you caught up with your peer. Now you looking forward to.
Yep.
Good.
Exactly.
So, all right, last question for you. What do you do during the off season?
So in the off season, I just go crazy in track. Like, I train pretty much 6 days a week. So what I did this past summer was I trained twice a day. morning and afternoon sessions, and I made sure I get enough rest. And then I I make sure that I practice every day, being able to improve my times during the summer, make it as proactive as I can, so that when I enter the indoor season, which is, I think I actually saw a question just now, like, oh, is track like a fall spring sport? So yeah, so in America, track starts, normally they start in January and the indoor season because it's really cold. And then we transition to outdoor in the around the middle of March. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then from March onward, it's off season, but you're still training every day anyway.
um yeah, actually we're still in the competition phase. In outdoor season it goes from March to May, and then that extends to June or July depending on how competitive you are in division, in whatever division you are, because how it works is that if you jump far enough, or if you run faster than anybody in your, well, in your region, then you would have to, then you would go to what they call like the East preliminary rounds, where they choose like, okay, where they bring the people together within that region, compete against each other, and whoever comes out on top basically goes to NCAA nationals in Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah. Wow. Good, good. And have you made to the NCAA national
No,
yet?
no, no. I have not made it yet, but
Right.
we'll see if next year allows, if my body will allow me to do that. But it all starts with believing. So
That's
gotta
good.
believe that you can do it. Yep.
Yeah. And then I forgot to ask, somebody asked here, your plan after you,
Sure.
we asked about your track and field goal already. What about your psychology? What are you planning to do?
I
Study?
have so many. I have so many ways I want to go forth with my psychology degree. Um, I've always wanted to go to grad school. I wanted to go to grad school. I wanted to become a, well, what they call as a user experience designer. And then I have other passions as, you know, I personally wanted to be a detective. But yeah, I want, like, there's so many ways that you can go with it, and I've been offered so many opportunities here that I just don't know which one is the best for me, because all of them are so good.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's good. It's good that you have many other options that you want to do. And George Mason is well known on cyberspace, right?
Yes.
Security stuff.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
it-
Cyber.
it's like top notch in the whole world.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, thank you again. Before we let you go, I just want to go this a little bit. That thanks again for everyone who joining us today, and also watching this webinar on our YouTube,
Um,
Facebook. Yep.
One more thing. I think I saw somebody said like, "Oh, will I go back or will I stay?" That's a good question. I hope that I can stay, because then I can, I think, pursue my track and field passion as well, you know, to the fullest extent. Um, but if it doesn't allow me, then Thailand it is. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can still have a few more years anyway, because if you go to grad school, right? So
Yeah, I still have my eligibility. Yep.
yeah, so you still have how many years you have left? You didn't use the first year.
So
You got 3 more years.
yes, I have 3 more years, and I think I'll
Sorry.
probably going to use all of them. I think the last 2 years might use it on some other school, or maybe Mason, depending on how it goes, or where my life takes me.
Okay, because you didn't go into freshman. You went into sophomore, right? So you actually
Yeah.
have 5 years eligibility, 4 year eligibility, right? Because
Yes.
one year
Yeah.
free COVID year. So I mean, you in the good place. You probably can go finish graduate somewhere wherever you
Yes.
want to be. Good. Well,
Yep.
that's a good thing. And also, after that, you can do op p-op we go op something, I don't know, you can stay another couple years.
Yeah, for sure.
Good deal. Well, thanks again. So this is our company. We pretty much help college recruiting students from high school now. We learn from you. Now we start from high school, bringing the kids here for high school, and this is the people that we place it. Oh, by the way, the first triathlete ever from Thailand.
Wow.
Yeah. So and he's doing really well. He's only 16. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
he's the same thing as you, but because we interview him and we asked him, he he compete almost every weekend too here in US, like every other week. He love it. So it's not much competition in Asia compared to US. So yeah, so we got a lot of golfer. That's ice hockey.
Yeah.
Ah,
Amazing.
yeah, so it's good. So 10 years now, we keeping track, and hopefully we can keep helping more. So someone like you and anybody who want to pursue their dream and education. Well,
For
today,
sure.
North, thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and congratulations. You all have accomplished. I know it's a hard work, but we all behind you. Looking forward to see you in the bigger platform soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you
Good
so
luck.
much.
Good luck. Have a good
All right.
weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yep. You too. Thank you.